Three, two, one. Everybody.
Hi, everybody.
I fucking hate you. Welcome back to Off the Wall. I'm Mike.
I'm Soul.
I'm Vander.
Anyway, we're talking about House of the Dragon season 2, episode 3. Soul, what'd you think of this one?
There was some hot D.
The hottest of Ds. Just, man, that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I figure we should just get that one out of the way. Let's just get that out of the way.
Shay, I'm interested in, because you mentioned that you think, see, when I saw it out, the first one, Behind the Curtain,
yeah,
I thought that it was just like legitimately like two porn stars that they just hired to do porn for a minute.
That's one way I think they may have done that legally. Because just from a union standpoint, you got to be careful with stuff like that. So that's one way they can do it. Another thing is it could have just been prosthetic. Or there was a film, and I do not remember the name of it off the top of my head, where they had done like full frontal like graphic sex scenes in it, and I guess reportedly they had like filmed two pornographic actors doing the scenes and then like used digital editing to like superimpose it into the scene. So I don't know. There's a couple different ways they could have done that legally. Suffice to say, wasn't expecting that. I don't know what was more shocking, that or the or young Rainier coming back to sew a child's head back onto its torso. This was just this was an
very
episode full of shocks.
Also, in the realm of wieners, I was like, we've seen wieners in Game of Thrones before. We saw Hodor's. Man has a hammer, dude. So like we've seen those before. I was surprised that we saw Aemon's.
Right.
Not that it matters, obviously, body positivity and all that. But I was surprised at the full frontal Aemond.
I think I read something where like I guess that was his decision, just from an acting standpoint, because they wanted it to be just like a vulnerability thing. Especially when you consider like that was probably, when we hear Aegon jeering at him because it's the one that he kind of lost his virginity to all those years ago, that Aegon took him there.
His mother figure too, which is kind of gross.
It is. Well, remember what Aemon said when they were looking for Aegon in season 1, where he's like, he took me here because he said now's the time to get it wet, and that's exactly what he told that other Knight of the Kingsguard they were bringing in to pop his cherry, as it were.
Following these oaths, those Knights of the Kingsguard are.
Yeah, it's in that was. I'll get into that in a sec, but but yeah, like to wrap up the Aemon thing is like, yeah, it really just felt like this is. I feel like this is building up for him, and I don't know. If I was a betting man, this almost feels like his origins of how he's going to try to kill his brother or turn against him. My hot or cold?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, you see just him getting tormented by Aegon all these years when they were kids, and now that they're adults, and seems like their relationship hasn't changed, even though his brother has been elevated to the post of king of the country. But yeah, I can see how after a long time that would get very tiring on Aemon's part to have to deal with that from Aegon all these years. And
if you look at the siblings that we have seen, because we don't have the fourth sibling, the third brother, who's over out in Old Town, he's the most competent of the three. And not to be like bash Helena, because I love her and she's the sweetest thing ever and he's protected, but she's not as competent as her brother Aemon. He's the one that is the sword fighter, is the one that has the strategies, even with Sir Krusty Cole, as I like to call him now. But
with his bitch ass haircut.
And his bitch ass haircut this episode. But he would be a better king than his brother, even though he is not as good as a person. he would be a better king than his brother, and he's more.
I don't know.
competent.
I think of all the members of Team Green, Aemond is the one that like I kind of ride with that guy. I think that he would be a great king in theory because he's I don't know. We've obviously now seen that he's got this this vulnerable side where he's going to this brothel just to cuddle up next to this woman. So we know that he's got a soft heart. We know he's a scholar. He reads his books. He's a great swordsman. He reminds me a lot of the way they explain Rhaegar Targaryen, Daenerys' older brother.
Mhm.
Maybe a little rougher than Rhaegar would have been. But Aemond, I enjoy him very much. He's kind of a little bit of everything. I think he would have made a great king.
And he also looks up to Daemon as well.
Yes.
So I think there's a part of him that wants to be like Daemon and has the insecurity. We saw that in the first season with the pig, and him getting Vhagar goes, I may lost an eye, but I gained a dragon.
Yeah.
So there's parts of his story that are very interesting.
Well, let's not forget, Aemond is just an anagram for Daemon.
Literally.
Yep.
So, yeah. I'm also, you guys mentioned, like, I honestly feel like, and this is all surface level, but as it stands right now, I really feel like both Aegon and Aemond have it in them to be good kings. It's just neither of them were raised to be king.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they both have the makings of good kings. It's, we're seeing kind of the worst of Aegon because he was made king in the worst of circumstances, and Aemond as well. Like, I feel like given a fair opportunity, and I mean, and granted, you could say this about anybody, but I feel like just with what we know of these two inherently, even Aemond, like, yeah, he's a tortured dude, and he's angry, but like, he keeps a cool head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had the moment at Storm's End, but Luke died because Vhagar took over, because you can't have dragons fighting dragons. He admitted last week that he hates what happened. So yeah, I'd really like to see like the Marvel what if multiverse story of like, what if Aegon had actually gotten a fair shot at being king, or what if Aemond had what if they had gotten a hold of him and Aemond took over instead?
And part of what makes these boys not such good people is because they didn't really get the love from their parents.
Yeah.
So like Viserys loved Rhaenyra, loved her so much, and it's a child with the wife that he actually truly loved and cared for. But a combination of being older, a combination of being married to someone that is for political gain and not because of love, those kids he really never paid attention to.
No.
Yeah.
They were just a reminder. Well, speaking of kids we don't really pay attention to all that much, we're getting more and more with Daemon's daughters from Baela, and I can never remember the other one's name. Rhaena, thank you. We see that Baela is still living with the struggle of, I'm the only one in the family who doesn't have a flippin' dragon right now. And this task that Rhaenyra has given her, I love what this is kind of setting, what it seems like it's kind of setting up for us going forward. Vander, do you want to hop in here?
Yeah, I thought it was a very good storyline. I love what Rhaenyra, because obviously it's even Rhaenyra didn't really want to do it. Like she's willingly sending her 3 youngest kids away, very, very far away, where she will likely not see them for a very, very long time. And she's trusting Rhaena to do this, to take care of the kids, to raise them as if she was their mother. And although obviously Rhaena did not like this task at first, they kind of sweetened it up there with the dragon eggs.
Did I get them backwards?
Baela's the older one.
Son of a bitch.
Are they technically twins, aren't they? They seem like one in the show. Rhaena seems younger than Baela, but I'm pretty sure they were twins.
You talk while I look it up.
Yeah, I think they're twins, but yeah, I'm unsure if they're twins in the show.
Yeah. Rhaena is Luke's betrothed, who has the dragon. Oh, fuck. I got to mix up. Baela.
Yeah.
Okay, I was about to say.
I had it right initially, and then
Rhaena was Luke's betrothed, Bela is Jace's betrothed.
Yeah.
So not only does she not have a dragon, she also loses her betrothed.
Yeah.
And you have to remember that she is also the daughter of David. And so there is some fire there, but she's not able to do anything about it. And because she doesn't have a dragon, she's feeling worthless. And there is that tension there of, I want to do something. I want to be more than just a mother figure, which is exactly what Rhaenyra in season 1. She wanted to be more than a mom who's birthing children to some noble guy. So you're seeing that playing again and again, family outside, but you're seeing that being played again and again where these women are having to make the choice of being that mother figure, taking that role instead of taking the role of what they want to be.
Okay, so yeah, just for my own peace of mind, Bale is the older one, rides Moon Dancer. Rhaenyra's the younger one. Has the egg, has yet to hatch. There we go. Now I'm satiated. We can move forward.
Did it mention if they were written
no,
as twins?
it specifically says Bela is older than Rhaenyra.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Maybe I was mistaken.
And this is the show. Maybe it was different in the book. I don't know.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I was.
Maybe you tell me. But I mean, yeah, it seems to me like we're setting up for the possibility of Rhaena. I have to keep looking at it, or I'm going to screw it up. Of Rhaena, maybe taking over Laenor's dragon, possibly.
I still think just foreshadow, and we are seeing a lot of differences between the books and the show. We're seeing a lot of stuff that's getting jiggled around, which I love. It makes it less predictable on my part. Like, I don't necessarily know exactly what's going to happen, but I think they did too much foreshadowing with Adam Hall looking up at Laenor's Laenor's old dragon, Sea Smoke. I think they foreshadowed that too much for him to not be the one that ends up nailing him down. I think it's also foreshadowing that, because Corlys in that conversation with his wife Rhaenys is struggling about like who his heir is when he dies. Like, he's like, Joffrey is 6 years old, knows nothing about boats, and Rhaenys brings up possibly Rhaena, and he's like, she knows nothing about boats. She doesn't even know anything about dragons. So I think that's where these two guys, Alan and Adam, are really going to become pivotal characters in the Driftmark area of Westeros.
And, and Adam's Alan's brother, right?
Adam's one with the longer hair. Alan's the bald one.
Okay, and they're part of, trying to keep track of everybody, and they're part of Corlys's ship crew, right?
Yeah, they are in his employ.
Okay, gotcha.
They're in his vessel.
Yeah,
and Alan's the one who Corlys owes a favor to.
Yes,
basically. Yeah. Okay. I loved with all my heart that entire scene with Rhaenys and Corlys. They are couple goals. Eve Best continues to be the best part of House of the Dragon, without a doubt. And that whole scene was just so, it didn't feel like, sometimes you watch these scenes even between like a husband and wife, and it all feels like it's just for the sake of the audience, like the way the dialogue is presented sometimes. This just felt like a nice moment between a couple. Did, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, where there was the scene of just the two of them in bed together. It's like, I love just seeing the two of them together so much.
Yeah.
Just talking about stuff. Yeah, because they're both extremely wise, very experienced in between war and whatever they call it, gossiping about the kingdom. Like, they just know a lot. They know a lot. They know the histories of both of their families, and I think it's a really amazing thing that they were able to, get married many, many years ago and maintain that marriage all the way until this day. You can see they definitely love each other. Rhaenys was heartbroken when she thought that she was going to lose Corlys when he was fighting in the Stepstones. And yeah, they are definitely, you said it right, my couple's goals. I do want to bring up a point that, and I don't want to, shit on everybody's parade.
By all means.
Something about Rhaenys in the show this season is a little strange to me. And I understand that the writers have to look at a lot of different characters and develop all their arcs and their backstory and their motives and all of that.
Sure.
But it seems like Rhaenys went at the end of last season. Like, I don't know, when she seems passive. Like all of a sudden she's like wanting all this peace, and I don't know, something about it it was sitting weirdly with me, just the way that she's acting, because I can't tell really like what she wants.
I definitely feel like that with Rhaenys, they're playing things a little close to the chest, which makes me wonder if, and again, I haven't read the book, so that makes me wonder if maybe they're setting up for something that's a deviation and they don't want to let it out too soon, or seem like they're setting up for one thing when they're going to do something else.
Yeah.
It also could just be they're trying. It also could be, and maybe you could explain more about what her role and their role as a couple specifically is in the book, but it almost seems like they're there for us, like they're there for the audience. They're there to be kind of our through line through all of this, because it's like, yeah, they're just the happy couple that wants all this bullshit to stop so they can get back to living their lives. Like, this thing has cost them their family several times over, and it has literally nothing to do with them. It's cost them their daughter and their son. It's cost them their next heir to their seat. It's almost cost Corlys his life. It's cost them loyalty and friendship and homes within. It's cost them their home essentially in Westeros, their vacation home, what have you. So it's strange to me, in kind of like with you, where it's like, yeah, what are these two doing? But then really it's like, I almost feel like they're, like I said, just kind of there to be like an avatar for just the through line, the observer of just everything collapsing around them. Maybe, I don't know.
And I see a little bit that Rhaenys is the other woman in the room in the Black Council, because you see the Black Council, they were like, oh, why don't you go away and we'll handle everything. So there's still not that respect completely for Rhaenyra, because she is a woman, and Rhaenys kind of like puts them in their place. So, because even though Rhaenys is a woman, I feel like she is still feared by everyone. So I don't think Rhaenyra is feared by everyone in the way Rhaenys is.
Well, Rhaenys busted up through the floor of the dragon pit and
killed hundreds.
Still haven't addressed that, and literally could have ended the entire Green
how Mysteria
legacy.
feels about that with the little folk.
Just seriously.
She's probably resentful, and I get why she didn't just set them all aflame, because just like she said, it's not her war to start, but she has picked a side. She is, speculatively the hand of the queen.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I
she
just
wasn't
feel like
wearing
she's
the thing this episode. I didn't see it anywhere.
That was weird. It made me second guess myself, but I swore I saw it on her.
I'm gonna go back and watch the episode again.
Yeah. Oh. Well, no, I didn't see it on in the third episode. Definitely was not on in this episode, but I swore that I'd seen it in previous episodes.
She is definitely filling that role.
Yeah.
I just feel like she was so not fueled by it. She did kind of give up towards the end of season 1. Like, she admitted to Corlys that she doesn't care about ruling. Like, we need to stop chasing this facade. Yeah. But she still is fueled by this misogyny, I feel like. And I'm just not seeing all that much of it this season.
I wonder if more she was, maybe it was she was fueled by the heat of the moment. Like everything happened all at once in that penultimate episode. And now that she sees where it's like, well, now, no, there's a woman wearing the crown, effectively sitting the throne. I just need to sit back and because the thing too is going back to kind of your point where people were intimidated by her in the room soul. It's like Rhaenyra hasn't done anything yet. I mean, at the end, when you really boil everything down, Rhaenyra hasn't done anything yet. Everything that's happened so far in the name of the Blacks has been done by other people getting ahead of themselves. Yep. And that's why when Rhaenyra is talking to everybody and saying, no, I'm not just going to jump into this. Yeah. There's almost this look of respect from Rhaenys that echoes from, last season where she tells Corliss, Rhaenyra is the only one holding this shit together.
Yeah.
Like,
And in that very last council meeting where I could tell that she almost dove into what her counselors were telling her, but then she like looked at Rhaenys real quick, and then she was like, you know what? I hear your arguments. I will consider them. I swear, up until that moment, I could see it on her face that she was thinking about just giving in and saying, yes, go get your people. Let's get this done. But you're right. Rhaenys is kind of that voice of reason for her. Ironically enough, she's the only other woman in the room. So I think, those might be some nodes that the writers are putting in there that obviously the men of this country are so fueled by rage and want to fight and war their whole lives. And yeah, Rhaenyra, I saw this tweet earlier and it kind of bugged me. It was from a woman, so when I read it, I was like, this is just a dude that thinks women are just, once they get mad, they stay mad forever. But it was posted by a woman. It was the picture of Rhaenyra at the end of season 1 where she gives that very like angry face. Obviously, she just lost her son. Understandable to have that face. And the caption was, whatever happened to this rage? Why haven't we been seeing this rage? And I'm like, is it because she's a woman? She's just supposed to stay mad forever about it? Like, she grieved her son. She was still mad in the first episode when she said, I want Aemon Targaryen. Like, I don't know. I feel like
she just found her son's remains.
Yeah, and in the midst of all that, she's still able to have a clean head on her shoulders and make wise, well thought decisions versus all these people that are just like, oh, she was pissed at the end of season 1. Why isn't she just going ham on people? It's because she's a good queen. That's why.
The whole point. That's literally the whole point of the end of season 1 is she's the rightful queen, as it were.
And Alicent knows that now that she made the mistake.
I gotta tell you, that whole scene, I was sitting there just like, oh my God, will one of you just say the thing already?
Yeah.
Just say it. Just say what he said. Oh my God. And then eventually they did. But like, I was screaming at my television for a while because that is my biggest pet peeve in all of film and TV is when it's like, if you guys would say 2 fucking sentences to each other, all of this could be solved. Yeah. And it took us a long time to say those 2 sentences, but we did. But Alicent's dumb, so it meant nothing.
Yeah. And for Rhaenyra in that situation too, there was a moment that she was like, oh, my father really didn't want me at the very end. And the relief that she had at the end of like, oh wait, no, he still wanted me. He was just talking. Yeah. So that I think that makes her probably feel better and will have more conviction going further for the rest of the season, because if you're just hearing this is what my father wanted on his deathbed and the whole time, like you're like, no way, he's wanted me this whole time. This can't be it. But there's still a part of you that's probably like, well, maybe.
Yeah.
And now she knows for sure.
Be so heartbroken if that didn't get cleared up.
Right.
Because then Rhaenyra was literally, she's gonna be so insecure about her entire rule from then on. And I like that she did find out. I think the conviction that you mentioned, it's going to be good for her. Like, she knows she's doing the right thing by continuing to try to get on the Iron Throne. But I think she's going to keep it to herself. I don't see her explaining this to a whole lot of people because we're talking about a dream that is exclusively passed from Targaryen rulers down the line. Like, how is she supposed to tell all the people of the world, hey, Aegon the Conqueror had this prophecy. I'm the only one that my dad told me about it. Alicent mistaken, and that's why I should be on the throne. I think she's going to keep that to herself because she doesn't want that's such a sentimental and exclusive secret to hold and keep all these years. I don't see her wanting to get it out. And
you see that I got 2 points when she first says to Alicent, like, wait, he told you about the Song of Ice and Fire? Like, she was shocked, just the way she was shocked that Daemon didn't know about it.
Right.
Because that was her way of knowing, oh, he never seriously considered Daemon his heir.
Right. Because he always had, once he gave up that he would ever have a son with Emma, he made Rhaenyra.
But the other thing I wanted to bring up was the point you were making about with Alice, whether or not Rhaenyra was going to keep it to herself. She doesn't need to tell anybody because in that conversation, she says to Allison, oh, that's what he said. Oh, well, here's what that means. And Allison, in that moment, chose to refuse to say, no, Rhaenyra, there was no mistake. And Rhaenyra says, no, you didn't. Like, you're just mistaken. And Allison, with dead ass conviction, looked Rhaenyra right in the eyes and said, no. So in that moment, whatever little shreds of anything between the two of them were gone. Because in that moment, I think Rhaenyra realized, oh, she doesn't care. She doesn't fucking care. Oh, it's on now. Now they really and truly are usurpers. Now she doesn't have to tell anyone about the Song of Ice and Fire. She can just keep going on with what people know now. It's enough. And in her heart, she knows she's right. And in her heart, she knows Alicent knows
that she's wrong.
Because you could see the surprise on Alicent's face. And that surprise quickly turned to, oh, no. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And part of it, I think, with Alicent is that she's lost so much power after deciding to make her son the king. Because she had power when Viserys was still king, because Viserys was on his deathbed. So she was ruling King's Landing, basically. But her father's gone as Hand of the King, so she doesn't have him there. Then even as shitty as the dad he is, they're on the same side. They share their power together. And she has been so diminished that even if she was like, I'm going to go and make things right, she wouldn't have the power to make things right.
No. She is learning the same lesson Cersei did, which is that once the Queen Mother's son is married off, the Queen Mother has no reason for being. She is learning very quickly just how replaceable the Queen actually is. And now she's realizing, shit, why did I do this? Why did I do any of this? What was any of this for? I gave up everything for what? So my family could all fight and kill each other? Cool. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo.
And I think what's especially funny about Alicent is I think deep down she always knew that she misinterpreted. She even admitted that Viserys was tired. He was at the end of his life. Like, I think deep down
making a lot of sense.
She knew the whole time that it wasn't the case. She heard what she heard 3 words that she wanted to hear and ran with it. And I think she's known the whole time. So it doesn't matter that Rhaenyra has confirmed it with her that it's a misunderstanding. She's gonna roll with it. And you're right, Shay. It broke them apart completely. Now Rhaenyra and Alicent are enemies. Any chance of them being friends ever again is over. So now the Queen on Dragonstone and the Queen Dowager in King's Landing, the 2 biggest, most pivotal maternal characters in this fight, hate each other. No more chance of resolution.
No, because that's what Rhaenyra told Rhaenys. She's like, she told me the last time we saw each other, I'd make a good queen. They can't all have just changed overnight, right? She just she needed that closure. She just needed to know.
Which was very cool, by the way. That did not happen in the books. I'll go out and say that right now. We knew nothing about Rhaenyra sneaking into King's Landing and meeting with Alicent. Did I think the writing was a little like, man, it's that easy to get to a queen? Like, Daemon got a fucking rat catcher to Jaehaerys, and Rhaenyra can just slide into his head. So, but
you said the Daemon thing wasn't in the book either, right?
Yes and no. There was just speculation about who did what and who ordered it.
And that's where I think sometimes with this show, the writing can, and I hate to say this, but the writing can sometimes, for lack of a better word, falter a little bit, is when the showrunners are kind of left to their own devices to fill in some gaps.
And they need the big characters.
We did see that in Game of Thrones for
all
sure.
The time.
And it's that's not meant to be like a harsh judgment. It's just like that kind of moment is like where you're talking about. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, they had to write this themselves.
Or when they choose to, I was like, when they choose to, like some of the words, like, I may have lost an eye, but I gained a dragon. He didn't say that in that moment. He said that much later in life, reflecting on that moment. So you have certain things too that are out of order or out of time from the book.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and they're doing it well. I mean, I still give this show a 10 out of 10 so far. But they
Oh,
do need those big moments in this story. They need the bigger characters to be a part of it, which is why they, like when Damon going into King's Landing and ordering the hit in person, like stuff like that. Like they need, I don't know, they need to put a face on what's happening. Whereas in the book, it's just a story. Like we can imagine it however we want, but a show, like you got to put your top build cast on screen as much as you can.
Exactly. Yeah, it gets when you start getting contracts involved, it gets dicey.
Yeah. Can we? I didn't know what you were planning on going next, Shay.
I was about to throw it to you guys. Where we want to head next with this?
I figured we could kind of rewind, start back at the beginning of the episode, because I think
same too.
I think the viewers, anybody that's watching this, most of House of the Dragons fans aren't quite sure about the Brackens and the Blackwoods and the history of that beef. Oh, so that's amazing. I'm glad they didn't show the whole fight. They didn't need to.
Me too.
That was an amazing few minutes of an opening scene. These families have beefed forever. They're in the Riverlands. The Blackwoods technically worship the old gods. The Brackens worship the new gods, but they are right next to each other. They are like, it's like Bloods and Crips. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they have hated each other forever. Before Aegon the Conqueror landed in Westeros, probably 1,000 years before that, these families have just beefed and literally nobody knows exactly what happened. The Blackwoods think that the Bracken kings took their land and claimed it as their own, and impoverished and oppressed their family. The opposite. The Brackens think the Blackwoods did the same thing. They're pretty much, both of their arguments are exactly the same. One just thinks the other is the culprit. So this beef is lasted forever. And in every war that's ever happened in this entire series, the Brackens are on one side and the Blackwoods are on the opposite side. Literally, Robert's Rebellion, where it was still the Mad King and Rhaegar versus Robert and his folks, the Brackens were on one side, the Blackwoods are on the other. This war, Dance of Dragons, Blackwoods on one side, Brackens on the other. So I'm glad that they were able to showcase that beef, because we didn't really see it in Game of Thrones all that much. Very briefly when Jaime was trying to make peace in the Riverlands in season 6. So I think it's good that we're seeing this beef come to light. Man,
we saw a little bit of it in season 1 too, when Rhaenyra was in this, like trying to pick a suitor to marry, and you had that little boy,
Bachelorette,
you had the younger boy that he was a Blackwood, and he kills the Bracken guy who was making fun of him.
Pinocchio the Craig Slayer,
yes. So that was also a Blackwood versus Bracken moment.
Very good spear reference.
They hate each other, and I almost wondered if that kid was if that was the kid.
Oh, that's interesting.
They haven't said it, but I wonder if that's fucking good.
I kind of felt like after that kid killed that douchebag, Rhaenyra should have been like, "Hey, now wait a minute, let's bring this guy with us."
Right? Yeah,
I actually kind of like him now. Yeah, it gave me very big like Hatfield McCoy's vibe kind of thing.
All day.
Yeah, but also what I loved about it was it from a narrative standpoint, it was the thesis statement for the episode, because later on we have Lord of Harrenhal,
Lionel. The Castellan, Simon, Sir Simon Strong.
Yeah,
Simon Strong. There we go. I can remember his first name. It's why when he gets there, Damon asks him, what were they feuding about? And the guy says, who the hell knows anymore? Right. And Rhaenys even says to Rhaenyra when they're burying the twins, she's like, when did this war start? Well, when they took my throne. Did it? Or did it start when Aemon killed Luke? Or did it start when Luke took Aemon's eye? Or did it's like,
did it start when Viserys named Rhaenyra heir?
Yeah.
Did it start just now when Rhaenyra clears it up with Alicent that she made a mistake? Like, there's so many.
Did it start when Rhaenys didn't get the throne? Who's to say? So it's one of those. It's such a great. It's one of many big underlying constant themes in this episode that they really interwove really well. It was such a great, shocking, but like tone setting moment for the episode. It's like, you see this is what we're dealing with today, kids.
Yeah.
And technically it's the first battle of the Dance of the Dragons, even though there was no dragons.
Right. That is what essentially kicked the fighting off. Obviously we've had a couple of assassination attempts, but
history is written by the victors, and ultimately we know who doesn't win. So anyway, speaking of other common themes, we also saw both sides getting their own, both literal and metaphorical Master of Whispers, because Aegon says as much to Larys Clubfoot. I'm calling him that for the rest of his life now. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Lord Scone, for that. Oh, that whole scene, by the way, just real quick to dwell on that some more. That whole scene was flawless. 10 out of 10.
Which one?
Everything with Daemon,
with Simon and Daemon.
Yeah, everything with Daemon and Simon, all of that flawless. 10 out of 10. Make that the whole show. Give that episode an Emmy right there. But all the stuff with Aemon and Aegon and Larys, but also Rhaenyra, getting her kind of unofficial Master of Whispers in with the White Worm.
Hey, if she's putting Mysaria on the council, then there's no other job that she's qualified for. So we can definitely know that it's implied.
And she was also staring at sea smoke too. There's been a lot of staring at sea smoke.
She's got a weird relationship. Well, she's got a weird perspective on dragons, because remember when
she's from the east as well.
She's from the east, and when Daemon was introducing her to Cyrax.
Caraxes.
Caraxes. Cyrax is from Mortal Kombat. Anyway,
Cyrax is also Rhaenyra's dragon.
Yeah.
Oh, so close. She seemed to have a weird, just kind of a almost like there was just this something unspoken. And every time she looks up at sea smoke, and it's, because even Larys wasn't really made official, because Aegon says like, my father always said there was never a need for one. My father's not around anymore.
Yeah.
But because also he, much like his mother, is like, but also the less about what you do I know, the better.
And I like that both of the Masters of Whispers, they match the people that they're serving. Like Larys, very sketchy, ill motives, chaos is all that he wants, is obviously going to be Aegon's counsel, and counts because he knows that he can counsel Aegon, pretty much do whatever he wants Aegon to do. Hell, he didn't even have to tell Aegon, hey, stay here, you shouldn't go. He just made up some lie that rumors were going around and somehow convinced Aegon, without saying it directly, don't go.
He appealed to his ego. He knows how to manipulate every person. He knows that what Alicent wants is to feel like she's in power and has someone on her side. What Aegon wants to feel is like he is the smartest person in the room, when he is clearly the opposite of the smartest person in the room. This episode gave me a lot to and I think we're probably still missing something too.
Haunted Mansion Harrenhal.
Haunted Mansion Harrenhal. Dude, that set was so cool looking.
And Daemon was looking for a fight too. He's been wanting
face.
He's wanting to get all this pent out aggression out. And he hasn't been able to do that because one, Rhaenyra's like, we're not starting shit right now. And then when he goes here, the guy who, I feel like Simon Strong would have bent the knee to anyone who showed up, because he's like, I'm too old for this shit. I'm bending the knee right now. And also you have Daemon saying, Your Grace, like basically going, I'm king now. I'm the king now.
He is getting real tired of reminding people that he's the king. Yes, he's the king consort, but he is still the king.
Yeah.
And he is getting a taste of his own medicine. I do agree. That guy was ready to bend the knee for whoever walked in the room first. He's like, first come, first serve, y'all.
Right.
I just want to eat I don't even have a roof. And he's giving me shit about peas. I don't have a roof. The
castle is yours. Here's dinner.
Yeah.
And Daemon too is having these dreams, which is something he made fun of his brother for, and now he's currently having. So that dynamic is
he
touched the werewood tree out there in Harrenhal. I thought that was really, really cool. We've met Alice Rivers, who seems to have an American accent.
Yeah, not the voice I saw coming out of that person at all.
Yeah.
She almost kind of sounded like Jenny Slate a little bit. It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
I almost expected her to go, money, please. So I don't know anything about her. So she had one line. So that's all of you guys.
To give you a little bit of backstory about what is speculated about Alice Rivers, she's almost certainly a strong bastard of some kind, with the last name Rivers. Obviously, that's a Riverlands bastard. And they believe she's could be Lionel's bastard. Some speculate that she is a witch who hasn't aged, and she might be Lionel's dad's bastard. But who knows? That was one of Mushroom's testaments, and you can
kind
never
of in
really
the
tell
way
if
that
it's gonna be true.
Melisandre is to someone who hadn't aged, or she had aged, but she wears the cover, which there is people speculating. Yeah, there's people speculating online. They're like, what if she is Melisandre later?
I mean, yeah, Melisandre looked like she was about 150 years old when she took the thing off.
I don't hate that theory, actually.
It's a very plausible theory.
It's totally plausible. I mean, it's all about how it's all about in how you stage it and how you phrase it. We're seeing that with the Acolyte right now, the way they're phrasing certain things with certain characters to make sure it still fits the canon later on. They're doing a half-handed job of it, but that's another story. I have mixed feelings. I'm scrolling through I'm glossing over the Wikipedia right now, making sure we didn't miss anything.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were looking at Alice Rivers' Wikipedia. I was like, this might ruin too much.
No. Don't do that.
No. I'm looking over the Wikipedia for the episode, just making sure we didn't miss anything. By the way, thank you to whoever did the Wikipedia and broke it down by location. Appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you very much. I think, real quick, Allison's brother showed up and just about got everybody killed.
Yeah.
And he also doesn't like Krusty Cole, so
good. I hate.
He has to like him a little bit now. Kristen kind of saved his fucking life.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, Kristen Cole with his dumb haircut and his dumb, stupid face of an idiot.
Yeah,
fucking hate that guy. But also, guys, leave him alone. Leave the actor alone.
Yes.
Quit doing that. Stop.
Fucking weirdos. Who does that?
Fabian is a good person. Leave him alone. Even if he wasn't, he's an actor. Leave him alone.
He's a spectacular person.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Can we not do to him what we did to the kid to play Joffrey, please? Yeah. Come on, guys.
I want to see him act more.
Yeah, we're like I hate him because this guy is such a good actor, hands down. Yeah. Anyway, all right. I think that's all the important stuff. If we missed something, please flame us in the comments. We'd love the engagement on the video. Definitely an episode to remember for a lot of reasons.
But by the way, next episode, season 2, episode 4, is titled "A Dance of Dragons."
Oh, gee, I wonder what's going to happen.
I don't think they're going to be doing TikTok dances.
Probably not. No, probably not. This was directed by Alan Taylor, who also directed the season 1, the season 2 premiere. So I'll be curious to see how this goes. All right, guys, let us know what you think down in the comments. We would love to know what you think. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. We will make sure you guys follow Vander at Vander DYT on all his stuff. Make sure you check all the links down in the description, and we'll see you guys again here next time on Off the Wall. Bye.